Man, they're just one bad decision away from that, because I'm telling you, there are other teams in the NFC right now that they're making moves, and they're making quiet moves. Like, it's very silent that people really not paying attention, because people are still stuck on a lot of the teams, like I was saying, like the Niners and the Cowboys. Yeah. And
you mentioned one of them with the Falcons.
Teams in the NFC. Yeah.
If Kirk Cousins plays decent.
Those two teams in the NFC. He play a little bit decent. They're going to be good.
Yeah.
And I think, personally, Michael Penix is going to be a problem once he starts.
Man, I'm telling you.
I think he's going to be a problem once he starts. He's throwing dimes out there. And he's younger. He's younger than Kirk Cousins. And he has a lot of potential. I feel like his arm is better than Kirk Cousins. I feel like it's just going to take some time with Michael. Yeah, his arm is way better. So it's going to take some time with him, but he already has the weapon. So if they just go ahead and throw him out there now, you know, we're going to actually talk about that when it comes to the Patriots in a little bit. We're going to talk about that, because I don't know what they're doing.
No idea.
They threw away their season this year. They threw away their season, man. I don't know. I ain't even a Patriots fan, but I was kind of upset a little bit when I seen what they did, because to me it's stupid, and it doesn't make any sense on what you just did in the draft.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. None of the moves they've been making. And to close out the 49ers talk, I don't know if this is the end of their run or not, but I'm agreeing with you 100%. This year is going to let us know how these next few years are going to go. While everybody's talking and everybody's wanting their hand in the pot and wanting a little bit extra money, we're going to see what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are made of, which we know these guys are potential future Hall of Famers as a GM and as a coach, with just the way that they've gone since they taken over in 2016, 2017, around that time. But we'll see how these 49ers do, man. We'll see if Brandon Ayuk gets his money, and we'll see if Trent Williams gets his money, and the 49ers keep going on the run they've been on. Folks, we want to thank everybody who's been watching with us so far. Make sure you guys go on to YouTube, Centex Sports TV. Check us out on there. Leave some comments and like and subscribe to that page on there. Also, check us out on Facebook, Centex Sports Network. You can see all the action there. If you want to listen to this content, go on to CentexSports1.com. You can listen to all the action there, or you can go on to the app Centex Sports 1 on the Google Play Store and on the Apple Store. Download the app. You'll be able to listen to all this content from wherever you're at. We're going to take a short break, folks. When we come back, we're still talking some more football as we're getting ready for the start of football weekend with college and high school. We're going to talk a little bit more NFL when we come back. We're going to take a short break and get back to the action, folks. You're watching Centex Primetime here on Centex Sports Network. We'll be right back.
If you're in the mood for a great Southern-style home-cooked meal, then Sassy's at 719 South 11th Street in Waco is the place for you. Check out their lunch specials Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., including beef, pork, or chicken, and Sassy's delicious sides like fried cabbage, okra, and mac and cheese. Sassy's has your Sunday lunch covered as well from noon to 5 with all your favorites, plus collard greens, oxtails, glazed ham, and those sweet potatoes. Finish off your meal with homemade butter pound cake, sweet potato pie, and even milk and cookies. You can even share the greatness of Sassy's with others using their catering services. Come enjoy Sassy's great service and elegant, relaxed dining area 7 days a week at 719 South 11th Street. Sassy's invites you to join them for a delicious home-style Southern cooked meal in the heart of Waco, just a couple blocks from the silos at 719 South 11th Street. When you eat at Sassy's, you just don't eat, you feed your soul.
When you suffer an injury at home, work, or on the road involving a car, 18-wheeler, or motorcycle, the first thing you need to do before calling anyone is dial 1-800-INJURIES for locally owned and operated the Zimmerman Law Firm. Hey, this is Big Rich, and the Zimmerman Law Firm has represented thousands of Central Texans in the last 50-plus years and handled more personal injury cases than any other local firm. When you call the Zimmerman Law Firm, you talk to a lawyer, no matter how big or small your case, and they guarantee you're financially taken care of because they only get paid when you win. Hey, don't just take my word for it. Heart of Texas Readers' Choice has named Zimmerman Law Firm the best in Waco. So remember, if you get injured at home, work, or on the road, it just takes one call, y'all, to 1-800-INJURIES or zlawhelp.com for the Zimmerman Law Firm and tell them I told you to call. Principal Office, Waco, Texas. No fee unless you recover.
When you are tired of good enough pizza and want the only authentic Italian quality pizza in town, with dough and sauce made fresh daily in-house, vegetables freshly chopped throughout the day, and meats made using the finest beef, pork, and chicken, I present to you locally owned and operated Marco's Pizza. Marco's has 3 convenient locations to serve you, including across from Pirate Stadium in Belle Meade. Feeding the entire family piping hot, authentic Italian fresh pizza, cheesy bread, and dessert tonight is as easy as going to marcos.com or stopping by the newest location in Belle Meade. Marco's Pizza. Say goodbye to just good enough.
Book your next special event at the Belle Meade Civic Center. From quinceañeras to Christmas parties, the Civic Center has room to accommodate your needs. You're planning that special birthday party, having a family reunion, or training seminar. Book now at the Belle Meade Civic Center. And if you need to rent a room for that big event for your family or business function, the Belle Meade Civic Center is what you're looking for. Let their friendly and knowledgeable staff help take some of the hassle out of planning your next event. Call them today at 799-2418 or visit them at the Belle Meade Civic Center, conveniently located near I-35 and Loop 340. No matter if your event's big or small, they've got room for you.
CBS Sports Central Texas, KWBT HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Hood is CBS Sports Central Texas, changing sports radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime, where we bring you guys the prime time sports topics for the entire year. For all sports, we bring you Central Texas sports here on Affinity Sports Network, Central Texas. Also, Centex Sports Network as well. But we also talk about some national topics, and we were just talking some 49ers before we went to break. We're going to talk about a few other headlines that got going on around the league so far today. And for this preseason, as you know, the preseason's wrapped up in NFL, and everybody is getting ready for the regular season. Teams are picking out their starters. They're cutting guys down to get to that 53-man roster. And they got to make cuts, guys. A lot of guys that can play, too, have gotten cut. So more teams are adding people onto their roster. You see teams like the Browns and other teams creating more cap space so they can pick up some of these guys. We talked about, if you watched the show yesterday, we talked a lot about the Cowboys signing Dalvin Cook and filling that running back need. But PJ kind of touched on it a little bit, and I'm still here joined by PJ Gaither. Right before the break, he talked a little bit about this team, the New England Patriots. They named Jacoby Brissett the starter for the year, or at least for the start of the season. We'll start there. I'm not sure if he'll make it through the whole year, but we'll see. Jacoby Brissett named the starter over Drake May, who played good in the preseason. In the draft, Patriots took a quarterback at number 3, taking Drake May out of North Carolina. And also in the 6th round, they took Joe Milton, kind of a project QB. Took him in the 6th round out of Tennessee, a guy with a cannon of an arm, and he looked pretty decent at times in the preseason as well. But kind of alluding to back what PJ was saying before, the direction of this New England Patriots. I mean, we know that it's been up and down mostly down since Tom Brady has left, and that's to be expected. You lose the greatest football player of all time. That's to be expected for there to be a drop-off there. But now losing Bill Belichick, and not really losing him, they fired him. Losing Bill Belichick, and Gerard Mayo's taking over now, who I'm going to be rooting for. Definitely rooting for all the black coaches around the league. Know there's a scarcity of those in the league, and so I'm going to be rooting for him. But, I mean, man, the hand that he has been dealt to start off his coaching career, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Not sure what direction this team is attempting to go. I mean, it almost looks like they want to tank the season to get a quarterback, but they just tanked last season to get a quarterback. And a couple years before that, they drafted a quarterback in the 1st round, Mac Jones, who's now in Jacksonville, being a backup to Trevor Lawrence there. So you draft a guy number 3 overall. You have, I was about to say probably, but it's not probably. You have the worst offensive line in the NFL. I mean, by far, probably the worst offensive line in the NFL. No real weapons for him to throw to at receiver. I mean, you draft a couple guys. You draft the Polk kid out of Washington. You draft the other kid out of LSU. And, I mean, they drafted a homer here in Waco. They drafted Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor a few years ago, but he hasn't just necessarily panned out so far at his time in the league. So you don't really give the guy any weapons. You're going to start Jacoby Brissett instead of Drake May, which, I mean, I understand both sides of it. You know, some people say, what's the point? You're going to be terrible. You might as well let Drake May get some experience. But with how bad this team is going to be, you might just get somebody get their leg broke out there or something, just rolling somebody out there. So I think they kind of threw Jacoby Brissett out there like, hey, we really don't care if something happens to you. You're not the future of the franchise potentially. So they're gonna roll him out there for week 1. He'll be the starter week 1. And like I said, not much to look forward to from this Patriots team. I mean, the drop-off, we knew there was going to be a drop-off. You were a Super Bowl contender for almost 20 years. That's unprecedented. That's something we've never seen before. And I would say something we're probably not going to see again, but there's a guy that wears number 15 out there in Kansas City, so we might see it again. But I don't know what type of direction they're going to go in. Gerard Mayo has been dealt kind of a crazy hand to start this off. QB battles, rookie QB, horrible offensive line. You had a couple guys on defense, but you traded Matthew Judon to the Falcons for a third-round pick. So, I mean, it's not like the Patriots of old that we've been seeing. PJ, what do you think about the news of Jacoby Brissett getting a starting job and then just really this Patriots dumpster fire, as some people would call it, that we're looking at?
It's honestly stupid to me. I get what Gerard Mayo trying to do. He's trying to be old school with it, you know, and have the guys kind of develop as far as like at practice and then put him out there once you feel that he's ready. And I understand that, but you can't make me believe that Jacoby Brissett is like an upgrade or a few notches above Drake May. To me, if you got Jacoby Brissett as your starting quarterback, I don't see who they beating.
Nobody.
I don't see who they beating. Like I don't really know who they're gonna beat, bro. They might beat the Raiders. You know what I mean? If they play the Raiders this year, I think they do. They might beat the Raiders or somebody. Like, but you're gonna be a 3-win team. You're not beating nobody in your division.
Nobody.
There's nobody in your division that you're gonna beat. All the teams in your division are good. Literally, all 3 of them. And we can actually argue that all 3 of those teams, other teams in your division, could be playoff teams. We could have something like how the NFC East was a few years ago, whenever you had the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants go to the playoffs.
AFC North.
AFC East this year. Yeah, AFC North. We've seen that happen a few times with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they doing. If I was a fan of the Patriots right now, I'd be just down bad right now, man. Like my emotions would be everywhere. They not really trying to win. You can't tell anyone that you're trying to win when you make him your starting quarterback. And there's no disrespect towards Brissett, but
no,
he's not good. He's not a starting quarterback. And I would rather go with the guy that I just drafted this year. What, in the second round?
No, you talking about Drake May? Yeah, he was the 3rd pick.
Yeah. 3rd pick? Man, come on now. Start him. I don't care how bad he gonna look. But you got to start him because you drafted him 3rd pick. 3rd pick overall. You have to start him. You just have to. That's just a bad look to me as an organization. And then with the Patriots, you know, the difference in back then and now, you don't really have any, like, you don't have any reason for anyone to want to come play for them.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, back then you had Tom Brady, you had Belichick. You know, you had some structure. Like, when people was getting traded or people were free agents and wanted to go to the Patriots, it's because they knew that over there it was a winning culture and they had true structure. You don't really know right now how the structure is. There's really no structure. We haven't seen that in a while coming from over there. And you got teams in that division like the Bills who are consistently good. That's a consistent double-digit winning team right there. You got the Miami Dolphins right now who are rolling. You also got the Jets who have been improving, it seems like, every year. And outside of last year, if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, to me, they would have possibly been able to win that division.
Yeah,
you know, and even with Breece Hall kind of having his injury, those guys are easily a playoff team. So it's not looking too good for them. I honestly don't know who they're going to beat. Like I said, if they play the Raiders or something, they might beat them. You know, they might beat New Orleans if they play New Orleans or somebody. I need to go look at their schedule and see. But they for sure are a three-win team with Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback. And I'm not saying that if Drake May was a starter that it'd be a lot better, but at least you would have some type of like
something to look forward to.
Well, we might be better later on. Yeah, something to look forward to. You don't have nothing to look forward to as Jacoby Brissett, like as your starter.
Nothing.
Oh, I just got some news. Jalen.
Go ahead.
So the 49ers, they just came to terms with Brandon Ayuk just now on a 4 years, $120 million extension to end his contract standoff.
So we've heard it right here. I'm looking at the news. Brandon Ayuk is staying in San Francisco right as we're talking about him on the radio. Staying in San Francisco. They signed a deal, 4 years, $120 million. So I'll wait to see as more as these contract details come out. But he gets the contract and he gets, pretty much the amount of money that he wanted, just a little bit under what we seen Justin Jefferson get. You're going to come out there and you're going to get $30 million a year to be a receiver. So looks like Brandon Ayuk wins in this one. Yeah, and then there comes the question: what are you going to do next? With Trent Williams, what's coming with that? But so breaking news here right now: Brandon Ayuk signs his deal. Everybody, 4 years, $120 million. So that saga is over with. And these are the times you'll see a lot of these contract disputes in because people want to go into the season and think about winning. And I think this shows that the 49ers want to go into at least this season, even after there's still a lot of questions to answer, but they want to at least go into this season and not have to have something looming over their head. I'm sure they'll try to work something out with Trent Williams now as well. And their regime there, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, they're doing it again. They're finding a way to pay these guys and keep their guys there, especially when you talk about homegrown talent like Brandon Ayuk. You don't want to see a guy like that go get 115 catches for somebody like the Chargers or the Steelers or even the Bills. I think had some interest. So you don't want to see guys like that go to another team and be able to perform at a high level like they've been doing for you. So they do the right thing. They lock him up. They're gonna keep going forward throughout this season and forward with him for the next 4 years as a receiver. And they're keeping talent surrounded around their quarterback, Brock Purdy, unlike the Patriots, who we were just talking about, that PJ said is going to win 3 games. I think they won 3 games last year, and they might win. I'm looking at the Patriots' schedule here. They might start 0-8. The first game is against the Bengals. Then you got the Seahawks. That's a potential maybe, but we know that's an L. They got the Jets on Monday Night Football, L. 49ers, who we were just talking about, super L. Dolphins on October 6th, super L. Texans after that, we know that's an L. Jaguars, I think they're playing them overseas, so those games are always weird. So maybe they'll have a chance, but an L. Right after that, they got the Jets again. That's another L. Only first team I see the potential maybe win is the Titans because we don't know what they have going on as far as their QB situation, but their defense is loaded, so there are no scrubs whatsoever. So the first win I see them getting there is the Titans, and maybe outside of that, the only other win they could have is Arizona, because Arizona is almost just as bad as New England. So
they might get a little crazy win that we might be scratching our head on.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll pick up. Yeah, they'll pick up a win somewhere in there. Somebody's going to sleep on them, and it'll probably be within a division. They'll probably get a division win.
It's for sure 3 wins.
Yeah, and that's max. We might be talking about the max right now, saying 3 wins. I'm not sure if they'll get more than that. So major change for New England and what New England fans are used to. But anybody that knows me, and you guys will figure this out as we go further in the show, I don't like any teams from Boston. So I don't care that the Patriots are going to be bad. I don't like the Patriots.
I ain't never liked them.
I don't like the Patriots. I don't like the Red Sox. I don't like the Celtics. I don't like the Bruins. trying to think that if they got a soccer team, I don't like them. Not a fan of any Boston sports.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with the Patriots being
never
terrible.
liked them on there.
Never. Only time I ever rooted for the Patriots was 2007 when they had Randy Moss. That's the only time I ever rooted for the Patriots.
For sure.
And I wasn't even really just rooting for them. I was just rooting for them in the playoffs. I wanted my boy Randy to get out there with a ring. But that's all good. So the Patriots, they're going to be back to status quo, I guess. They're going to go back to being sorry like they were all them years before in the 80s. And I know they had some decent teams in the 90s, but they've had some bad teams as well. So sticking to –
still sorry, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
They were still sorry, though.
Yeah, they were. They were
still sorry, even in the 90s, man. Them dudes. I mean, they made it in '97 against the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Brett Favre got his dub again. But they still weren't that good.
No,
before that it was '77 whenever the Cowboys played them, and that was years before that. So
that's a long 20 years in between that.
They've been known to be losers until Tom Brady came.
Yeah, till they got TB12, they were losers, and it looks like they're going back to that. So shout out to the Patriots fans. Enjoy the L's. Y'all got plenty of championships in every sport in Boston, so enjoy these L's while you can, man. It'll probably be another 20 years for y'all get somebody in there and start winning the game.
Natural element.
Yeah.
It's a natural element, man.
To the status quo back when – I mean, they had to lose in the 90s. Them jerseys are horrible. Them some of the worst jerseys. Them look like the jerseys you make whenever you make a team on like Madden 07, back when they used to let you make teams and they give you a random logo. That looks like that's what the old Patriots jerseys look like.
For sure.
Just the random logo on the side of the helmet.
What was
big fat red jerseys.
Man, what was the game that had Bo Jackson on there, man? That was crazy. What was that
Techno
football
Bowl
game a long time ago?
Techno Bowl.
Yeah, they had the Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Tecmo Bowl.
No, seriously.
Yeah, they had to change that up.
They had to, and I think these ones they got now are still ugly. But like we said, Patriots fans, you guys know where you're at now. Moving on to some more news around here before we go into our top of the hour break. Want to do a real quick take right here. This is somebody that PJ you're definitely familiar with. James Bradberry out for 6 to 8 weeks for the Eagles. I haven't really seen any Eagles fans upset about this. I think I didn't know Bradberry was still on the team. Let's start with that. I think everybody's ready to kind of move on from the Bradberry experience. Ever since Deebo Samuel got in that interview and said Bradberry was trash, he has lived up to that. And shout out James Bradberry. He had a couple good years there where he was on a Pro Bowler, on the brink of some All-Pro teams there. He had some decent years. But over the last probably 2 years, and especially last year. I mean, last year he was just a cone. He was just out there. He was just a cone. He was just out there getting routed up, getting cooked. I mean, it really didn't matter who they played. He was getting cooked by anybody that played. And this year, I seen in the interview, it looked like he almost had tears in his eyes, talking about how they trying to move him to safety. Oh, they did move him to safety. I said, oh, yeah, you're cooked as a corner whenever they move you to safety. Like, bro, he can't even tackle. So if they moving you to safety, they really just started seeing you out there. But we definitely wish a speedy recovery. Go ahead with your quick take on what you think about the Bradberry news.
Look, he's burnt toast at all times when he on the field. I ain't gonna lie, as a Cowboy fan, like I don't like seeing anybody get injured.
No,
when it comes to football, because I personally know that it takes a lot to come back from the injury. Mm-hmm. Definitely playing football and definitely playing at the highest level of football in the NFL. But I'm really hurt too because he was a guaranteed 100-something plus yard. When he was on the field, I already knew CD was gonna go crazy against him every time.
He's going crazy.
I could really
game.
pull up stats.
No,
if
seriously.
I'm not mistaken, last year. Let me pull up stats, man.
Yeah,
last year against him, man, CD versus him was 1,749 yards just against him.
Since he's been in Philly,
135 receptions. He's cooked.
Yeah, I mean,
he's cooked. You know what I mean? Like
James Bradberry and the Eagles know it. They draft 2 corners in the first round, so they knew it. They knew that that's the area that they were getting hit at, and They got Chauncey Gardner back at safety, so they tried to shore up the safety spot back there. I think Bradbury was really just out there. I think they didn't want to cut him. Maybe they felt bad for the dude or something.
He'll be better at safety probably, though.
He probably will be.
Like, yeah, he might be better at safety. And sometimes that happens, bro. Some guys just not built. I'll be honest with myself and say, like, because I played safety, I was a way better safety than I would have probably ever been playing cornerback.
Yeah.
For sure.
Corner the hardest position to play. And outside of quarterback, corner is the hardest position to play, maybe in sports. I mean, it's tough. You got to chase the best athletes in the world and mirror their bodies on an open field when they running full speed and you backpedaling. That's got to be the hardest job in sports outside of quarterback.
It's hard out there, man.
Yeah,
it's hard. So
it's tough, but
I get it. Like he probably would have been better.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's cooked though, so he's cooked though at corner for sure. He's always gonna be cooked at corner. It don't matter who you put up against him. A lot of guys have pretty much made their highlight reel off him. Off him alone.
Yeah, especially the whole NFC East is definitely. I mean, the whole NFC East got a highlight reel on Bradbury. But like you said, wish him a speedy recovery out there, and definitely want to see him back on. He's only out 6 to 8 weeks, so he'll be back second half of the season, and we'll see him out there at safety maybe if they don't end up moving one of the other dudes to safety. I think they might put Cooper DeJean at safety, honestly. I think they drafted him at corner, and he's a good athlete, but it's going to be tough him getting out there trying to line up against them receiver. That's a whole nother ball game than lining up against some of them dudes you lined up against at Iowa. So, he might get a little time at safety, but we'll see how they decide to go with the secondary. Folks, we want to thank everybody been watching with us so far. We're getting ready to head to the top of the next hour. We're going to take a break before we do. Like I said, make sure you guys go on to YouTube and watch, if you want to watch this content, Centex Sports TV on YouTube, or you can go on the Facebook, Centex Sports Network. Also, you can check out the website, CentexSportsNetwork.com. If you want to listen to this content, be able to listen in your car, at your house, wherever you want to listen to, download the Centex Sports One app. All the action will be there. You can download the app on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, or you can go to CentexSports1.com to be able to catch this action. We're going to take a quick break and come back for the top of the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk some college football. We got some quick takes as well, and we're going to touch on some of these games for this weekend as we get ready for the kickoff weekend for high school football and college football here on Centex Primetime. We'll be right back, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this short break.
When you suffer an injury at home, work, or on the road involving a car, 18-wheeler, or motorcycle, the first thing you need to do before calling anyone is dial 1-800-INJURIES for locally owned and operated the Zimmerman Law Firm. Hey, this is Big Rich, and the Zimmerman Law Firm has represented thousands of Central Texans in the last 50-plus years and handled more personal injury cases than any other local firm. When you call the Zimmerman Law Firm, you talk to a lawyer, no matter how big or small your case, and they guarantee you're financially taken care of because they only get paid when you win. Hey, don't just take my word for it. Heart of Texas Reader's Choice has named Zimmerman Law Firm the best in Waco. So remember, if you get injured at home, work, or on the road, it just takes one call, y'all, to 1-800-INJURIES or zlawhelp.com for the Zimmerman Law Firm and tell them I told you to call. Principal Office, Waco, Texas. No fee unless you recover. Book your next special event at the Bellmead Civic Center. From quinceañeras to Christmas parties, the Civic Center has room to accommodate your needs. You're planning that special birthday party, having a family reunion, or training seminar. Book now at the Bellmead Civic Center. Now, if you need to rent a room for that big event for your family or business function, the Bellmead Civic Center is what you're looking for. Let their friendly and knowledgeable staff help take some of the hassle out of planning your next event. Call them today at 799-2418 or visit them at the Bellmead Civic Center, conveniently located near I-35 and Loop 340. No matter if your event's big or small, they've got room for you.
When you are tired of good enough pizza and want the only authentic Italian quality pizza in town, with dough and sauce made fresh daily in-house, vegetables freshly chopped throughout the day, and meats made using the finest beef, pork, and chicken, I present to you locally owned and operated Marco's Pizza. Marco's has 3 convenient locations to serve you, including across from Pirate Stadium in Bellmead. Feeding the entire family piping hot, authentic Italian fresh pizza, cheesy bread, and dessert tonight is as easy as going to marcos.com or stopping by the newest location in Bellmead. Marco's Pizza. Say goodbye to just good enough.
If you're in the mood for a great Southern-style home-cooked meal, then Sassy's at 719 South 11th Street in Waco is the place for you. Check out their lunch specials Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., including beef, pork, or chicken, and Sassy's delicious sides like fried cabbage, okra, and mac and cheese. Sassy's has your Sunday lunch covered as well from noon to 5 with all your favorites, plus collard greens, oxtails, glazed ham, and those sweet potatoes. Finish off your meal with homemade butter pound cake, sweet potato pie, and even milk and cookies. You can even share the greatness of Sassy's with others using their catering services. Come enjoy Sassy's great service and elegant, relaxed dining area 7 days a week at 719 South 11th Street. Sassy's invites you to join them for a delicious home-style Southern cooked meal in the heart of Waco, just a couple blocks from the silos at 719 South 11th Street. When you eat at Sassy's, you just don't eat, you feed your soul.
CBS Sports Central Texas, KWBT HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Hood is CBS Sports Central Texas, changing sports radio.
Welcome back into Centex Primetime, everybody. Jalen Gillis still here for hour number 2 here on Centex Primetime. Still here, joined by PJ Gaither as we get ready for college football kickoff, high school football kickoff. I mean, this is really just it feels like Christmas almost a little bit if you're a football fan, everybody. So it's definitely good to be here at this part of the year whenever we can get ready and sit down and, you know, kind of just chill and relax and watch some football, man. I mean, that's definitely what I look forward to. And, you know, a lot of football fans all over the country definitely looking forward to that, especially us here in Central Texas and us here at Centex Primetime as we're getting ready for, like we said, for high school football. We're getting ready for college football season jumping off starting tonight. I'm definitely going to be tuned in, and we'll jump on that just a little bit later, talking about the Colorado game and the Colorado versus North Dakota State game. So we'll talk some predictions a little bit later. Before we get started, though, I want to get on here and talk about some quick takes. Want to do some quick takes, just me and PJ kind of go back and forth about some things I seen online on Instagram. You know, they always got these different sports topics. So we'll do a couple quick takes, and then we'll jump into some college football stuff after that, man. First quick take I want to get into, I seen this. Travis Hunter was getting interviewed, and they were asking him about his goals for this season coming up and starting tonight. He said his goals are to win a Heisman Trophy and win a bowl game. Those are his 2 goals, or win a national championship. So he was saying his goals are either he wants to go out there, win a Heisman, and win a bowl game, or he wants to get to a natty. I think this kid has, all the potential in the world. I mean, last night I was just excited about the football season starting, and I went back and watched his highlights from last year. And, the dude, we know what he can do on offense, man. He's dynamic. He's extremely shifty, can make people miss. He was one of the top recruits in the nation for a reason. He's been with Coach Prime from the start. And we've seen him jumping over people, making catches. We've seen the breakaway speed. But what this dude does on defense, I know he wants to play both sides of the ball. If I'm drafting him, you playing corner, bro. You nice at receiver and stuff. Corner. But it's other guys that was nice at receiver. Charles Woodson was nice at receiver. Champ Bailey was nice at receiver. But they were unstoppable on defense, though, with the impact, the vision that he has on defense. If you go back and just, any of you guys, you get some free time, look at Travis Hunter's highlights from last year. The plays he was never making a play on the read that he was on. If you go back to his first pick against TCU, that dropping back, he fakes, gives up the guy behind him, knowing they're about to throw to the quick flat, comes back out on his tippy toes, leans forward, catches the ball. The stuff that this dude does on the defensive side of the ball. Look at his highlights versus the 2 picks he had versus UCLA. His vision on defense as far as how he can play in these passing lanes and how he can read these quarterbacks is really remarkable. PJ, what do you think about his comments of what Travis Hunter had to say?
When you consider one of the best players in college, in all of college football, and he's the only 2-way player that I've seen in college football as of right now. That's the type of mindset that you're supposed to have It's either a championship or bust, or win a Heisman, get to a bowl game. He has the perfect mindset going into the season, and I personally think that he's top 3, if not number 1, best player in all of college football. The guy's an exceptional athlete. He does things on defense, bro. I call him eagle eye because it's like he foresee things way before it even happens. Like he's already breaking on where the quarterback is about to throw the ball. It's incredible how he plays on defense. It's crazy. So I think he has the perfect mindset, and that's how you're supposed to think. And I don't think that Deion will want to think any other way, because that's the same way that Deion was thinking whenever he was playing college football, or just playing football, period, or any sport he played. Baseball, it didn't matter. Deion thought that he was the best, and he was going to go out there and show you why he was considered the best. And I feel like Travis Hunter has the same mindset, and that's perfect for them. I can't wait until we only got an hour, probably 55 minutes until they play.
As soon as we jump off here, we'll be ready.
We'll be watching the game.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to see, man. I'm excited, and hearing those type of comments, it gives my blood rushing.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see what he's talking about when he get on the field tonight.
Yeah, facts. I'm feeling the same way, and you got to have that mindset whenever you're thinking about going out there and doing and performing at that type of high level. All those guys at that top level have that type of confidence. For him to come out and say it just double down on what we know he can do. Got some more quick takes here. I was on here and seen a quick take, or seen a post on Instagram, or a post on Instagram of an interview Marvin Harrison was doing. Marvin Harrison Jr., the former Ohio State receiver and one of the top picks in the draft this year, going on to the Arizona Cardinals, coming into his rookie year this year. They were talking about his time at Ohio State, and they were asking him where does he think he ranks amongst Ohio State receivers, and he says he thinks he's the best all time at Ohio State. Said he thinks he's the best receiver to ever come out of Ohio State. And, I mean, it's not too far-fetched, folks, when you think about the people that's played here, but just some of the guys that's been there over the last recent years. Chris Olave, Paris Campbell, who's on the Eagles, Garrett Wilson, who was a problem, and I can't wait to see how he pans out with Aaron Rodgers. Some older guys, Joey Galloway, Santonio Holmes, one of the best receivers ever. Chris Carter came out of Ohio State, and some of the new guys, like we said, Jackson Smith and Jigba and Michael Thomas over the years. He says he puts his stats up there against anybody, the stuff he was able to do in the 2 years that he played. He said some of these other guys got stats over him, but because he didn't play his freshman year. But in the 2 years that he did play, I think he was consensus All-American, first-team All-American both years that he played there, leading the league, or leading the Big Ten in catches, leading the Big Ten in receiving yards. I mean, the dude was a monster. He got picked where he did for a reason. The guy was a monster. But, PJ, what do you think about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s take about him being the best receiver out of Ohio State history?
So at first, whenever I seen him said, I didn't want to just automatically agree with him, because I understand recency bias, and whatever that you just seen recently, you're going to be more keen to be like, okay, he correct, or he's the best ever, or he the best at this. So I went and did my research kind of, because I knew, and I remember just growing up and understanding that Ohio State has just a rich history when it comes to receivers. And he really not wrong. Like, you can't really argue with him, man, when it comes to this, because he's the only receiver in Ohio State history to have multiple 1,000-yard seasons.
Yep.
And a lot of the guys like a Michael Jenkins or Chris Olave or David Boston, who are ahead of him in as far as like receiving yards at Ohio State, them guys played either all 4 years or all 3 years.
Yeah.
So
facts.
Of course they're gonna have they got longevity on them. It's not that they were better; they just got longevity on them. And I mean, we just seen what he did. I seen him. I remember the Utah game his freshman year. They were in the Rose Bowl when he played. Dude went crazy, and I knew he was gonna be a problem just after that game. I was like, oh, he ain't even played that year, really. He didn't really play that year. That was his freshman year. He was a true freshman that year. He didn't play like that. So I'm like, man, we just seen him in the Rose Bowl, and I was like, yeah, he gonna be crazy. He gonna be crazy whenever he start playing. And we seen his sophomore and junior year, he went crazy. So, I think he has all the right to say it. and I'm probably just gonna go ahead and say that I do agree with him. I just had to go do my research because I understood guys like Chris Carter, David Boston, a lot of these guys, Chris Olave, that we've seen, play over there, and I was just like, man, let me just kind of go and look back at all of them and then kind of compare it to him, and he is. And I mean, me personally, I think Garrett Wilson, out of that bunch of guys that came out just a few years ago, I thought Garrett Wilson was the best out of all of them. I thought he was better than Chris Olave. I thought he was better than what's the guy for the Seahawks right now?
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Out of Rockwall. Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I remember seeing these guys, they're a little younger than me, but I remember them seeing them in high school. Yeah. They were probably freshmen.
Texas boys. Garrett Wilson, Lake Travis.
Yeah, out of Lake Travis. And I remember seeing him as a freshman at Lake Travis, as a sophomore at Lake Travis. Dude was a problem against whoever that they played in the state. I remember they played North Shore. He even kind of gave them a little bit of problems. And their North Shore defense had a bunch of league guys on their defense. A lot of them guys are in the league right now. So he's always been an all-around problem, Garrett Wilson. His leaping ability to just get in the air and locate the ball is crazy. But Marvin Harrison has a little bit of that within his play, and he also, he's short-handed for sure. He's going to get up there and get the ball. He's not dropping no passes.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison. He's going to be
Marvin Harrison. Yeah, Marvin.
He's gonna be a problem this year on the Cardinals. I feel like already stepping in as a rookie. One, because Kyler Murray don't have nobody else to throw it to, so Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting that ball. So he's gonna be a problem for them. So like you said, I'm not mad at this taking. I feel like he's right up there, if not the best. He's right up there with any of those guys. So not mad at that take at all, man. I got a couple more quick takes before we jump into some more topics. Giants just unretired the first ever retired number in the NFL for Malik Neighbors. No Giant has worn number 1 for almost 90 years. Malik Neighbors got permission from a family of Roy Flatheartery. I don't want to say that wrong, but I probably did anyway.
Yep.
Who retired from the NFL as a player in 1935. So Malik Neighbors getting that number 1 jersey that's been retired at an historic franchise like the New York Giants for almost 90 years. And my take on it is, man, unretire that number. Them dudes was playing with the squishy helmets out there. That whoever the Roy, shout out to them, man. I'm gotta respect the old guys and legends that got them to this point. But come on, y'all, this dude was probably a safety and a kicker. They was playing both sides of the ball, 3A football in high school back in the NFL in those days, man. Unretire that number, bro. Come on, man. It's Malik Neighbors. Y'all already making him go out there and play with Daniel Jones as his quarterback. That's punishment enough. Y'all to let him wear 2 numbers if you want to wear 2 numbers. Yeah. Malik Neighbors should get to do whatever he want to do. Y'all putting him on punishment for making him start his career with Daniel Jones as his quarterback. That's already enough punishment. It's going to be cold in New York, and he's going to look back there while he's getting hit by a safety and see Daniel Jones out there looking lost like he's always looking lost, trying to throw a ball, and he's going to throw a knuckleball into the ground. So he's already on enough punishment. Let this dude get whatever number he wants to wear, man. We was talking about yesterday, we done with the 90s. We for sure done with the 30s, man. We not talking about no football players from the 30s. Get that number up and let Malik Neighbors wear that number 1. What you think about that, PJ?
I agree, man. And all due respect to Ray Flaherty, man. He played D-line. I think he played D-end from 1928 and 29 to 1931 and 35. He helped them advance to the NFL championship game too, around 33, 34, and 35. And he also ended up coaching and finished with I think an 80 and 37 and 5 record as a coach. So dude, the legend. But at that time, bro, it was only 6 NFL teams, if I'm not mistaken. I might be kind of a little bit off, but I think it was only 6 NFL teams. It really wasn't a lot of teams back then. A lot of these teams that you see now weren't even thought of.
Bro, his number was number 1 as a DN. Come on, bro. Football was barely football, man.
You gotta be for real. We didn't have no face mask back then the time he was playing. So you got his family at first. They I think the daughter, she really wasn't on it at first, but then his son kind of talked to the daughter, and she ended up being like, you know what, the number might be lucky for him. And I don't really think that the number is necessarily going to be lucky for him. Malik Neighbors is a really good football player. It really don't matter what number he wears, he's going to be good. I don't think that just because y'all grandfather, no disrespect to him, or father had played with that number as well, that it's going to be a lucky number for Malik Neighbors.
No, man. I
think, just give him a number, man. Dude played 100 years ago almost.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like, he almost played 100 years ago. So get that number up.
Like,
that number up.
He don't even got film with this guy, probably, man. There probably ain't even no film with this dude. It's 100 years ago.
Yeah, ain't no film. Nah, ain't no film. And it ain't no film, bro. Ain't no film. I look. I ain't see no film. All I seen was pictures.
That's all you gonna see. They had to paint those. They couldn't even take a picture back then. Somebody painted that while he was out there playing. somebody got a pencil and drew him. Dude
played too long ago to be holding on to that number one like that. So they need to go. Yeah, I'm glad that they gave it up, give it to the guy. Because, I mean, like you said, he already on punishment. He got Daniel Jones as his quarterback. He ain't got no running back. I can't name a running back on their roster right now at all.
I think they got Devin Singletary. That's who they went and got, which, you know.
That
ain't gonna get it done.
They O-line is trash.
Yeah.
And Devin Singletary isn't a starting running back. He's more of a
split guy,
a second string running back that you bring in to help get carries off of your main guy. So it ain't gonna work for him regardless. I think Malik Neighbors is gonna have an awesome year. It's gonna be hard. He's gonna be having a lot of bad passes thrown his way, but I'm sure he's gonna go up and get them.
Yeah.
But they still not gonna do anything though. The Giants is
the
terrible.
Giants. I mean, we can't even.
Defense is still gonna look terrible.
We hardly can't even get into
all about them besides him.
Yeah, there's nothing to look forward to for the Giants this year. They're gonna be bad again. They were bad last year. That's why they picked so high. And unfortunately, to Giants fans, y'all are gonna be bad again. Like, I mean, you might as well just get ready for it. It's gonna be another bad year, another long year. Y'all gonna see Daniel Jones looking lost, and he gonna throw another knuckleball into the ground. Then he gonna fumble. That's just how it goes for y'all, and that's okay though. That's okay. Y'all can look forward to Jalen Brunson playing with the Knicks or something. Football season. Just watch Neighbors. Just watch him in that number one and reminisce on Ray Flattery.
And no playoffs. No playoffs going. None of that. They might lose against every team in the division this year. The best team that they might end up, like they best bet on a win is probably against the Redskins.
Yeah,
but I doubt it.
And they'll sneak some wins in there. I don't want to put them in the same category as we were just talking about with the Patriots. They'll get some wins in there because their defense. They got a solid defense.
They get about 8 wins.
Yeah. Oh, you might be generous with the 8. You might be being generous with the 8. I was going to say more like 6, but
6. We can bump it down to probably 6. Yeah, but I'll be generous. Say they might sneak another 2 wins in.
Yeah, they got a chance. As long as Daniel Jones will turn the ball over, they honestly got a chance because their defense is pretty solid. At least their D-line is going to be.
He going to do that.
It's going to be.
He turned it over. He turned it over in the preseason.
2 picks in preseason. You only playing 12 minutes. Well, man, shout out to Malik Neighbors, man. It's gonna be a long season for you, but we know you're gonna ball and do your thing. We want to see the same celebrations you had at LSU out there in New York, and you're gonna do your thing for sure. One more quick take before we jump into some college football, man. This one was a tough one for me. I seen this on Instagram, and I had to bring this to you because we had these kind of conversations all the time. And this one is tough. It's a start bench cut, and I hate these because they always put somebody that is going to be tough to cut out of it, and this one is going to be super tough. It's a start bench cut or receiver edition. The receivers are Tyreek Hill, Calvin Johnson, and Julio Jones. Start bench cut. You got to pick somebody to start bench or cut. So I'm going to attempt to do mine. There's no right answer here, or there's really no wrong answer. All I know is that it is one right answer, and one right answer is I'm starting Calvin Johnson. Oh, yeah. He got to start. Calvin now for the next 2 is where it gets tricky. Tyreek is something.
Page.
Yeah, Tyreek is something we've never seen before. No one could have expected this guy that used to be a running back to come in here and dominate the league like this, a receiver off of just straight speed. And we've seen plenty of speed guys, but I mean, this dude, it seems like it's another level. And Julio Jones, he's just a baby version of Megatron, really a faster, more agile version of what Megatron was. And, the dude we seen put up numbers in and out every year despite being in Atlanta. That was only good maybe twice his whole time he was there. And Julio Jones kind of got hurt at the end, but, just a freak athlete and one of my favorite players, even back when he was on that Bama team that beat Texas, that wouldn't have won their championship if Colt McCoy didn't get hurt. But he was still on that team. That was a loaded team. Julio Jones, he's been a star since then all the way till now. And but if we're going to start bench cut, I'm starting Calvin, that's for sure. I'm going to bench Julio, and I'm going to cut Tyreek Hill. Now, that's tough. Tyreek Hill is a game changer, but that's just how I got to go with it. Julio Jones can do stuff that almost nobody in the league can do or could have ever done, and consistent, still a fast dude out there as well. And he can get you that 50-50 ball at any time. And Calvin Johnson, that's not even really debatable. They play punt coverage on this dude in the league. Like that's you're never going to see that again ever. At no point probably in the NFL for them to line up in a goal line package and the defense puts punt coverage out. Yeah. They got two guys on him like he's gunning for a punt, and it's just to stop him at receiver.
Never.
Yeah, we're never going to see that again. But what do you think about this?
I'm on the same page as you, like, all the way through. Start, bench, and cut. I'm on the same page. I'm not going to lie. It was hard for me, man, to cut Tyreek, man.
Yeah, same.
Tyreek, I ain't going to lie, I remember he first came into the league. People was like, he's fast right now, but he's going to end up slowing down. He ain't slowed down yet.
No.
He's still a cheater.
Still.
He's well into his career right now, so he ain't slowed down yet, man. So... And I feel like he's deeper in his bag now than what he was when he first came out. His route tree has evolved. He can run a lot more routes than he was at first. The only thing is, man, prime Julio was a problem. And I know we're going to get flack, bro. We're going to get a lot of flack back, man, because people going to be like, man, how y'all going to cut Tyreek? Look at Julio now. We ain't talking about right now. We talking about Julio in his prime with the Falcons.
The whole 2010s.
You gotta be old enough. You gotta be old enough to remember, man. This dude was unguardable.
Unguardable.
I promise you, he was unguardable. And he was playing against dudes in the 2010s we had some real DBs. We had some real. I ain't saying we don't have any right now. We had some really locked down DBs, and he was cooking all of them.
All of them.
I seen him cook every good DB, bro.
Do you remember when he got that dude cut on the Panthers in the middle of the season? He had a game where he went for like 250 and 3 touchdowns. He got a starting cornerback cut that day. They cut him when they got home. He got cut because of what Julio did to him. I can't remember. It was like Ben Wickery, something like that. They used to play. He was like number 25 or something like that for the Panthers. He got cut the next day because Julio did him so bad. All the yards was on him. He had like 3 touchdowns and went for 200-something.
Julio.
He was a problem.
Julio for a while, from 2011 to 2020, bro. Julio was that guy. And I know people not really he came out round 1, pick number 6 for a reason.
Yeah.
Coming out of Alabama.
No,
man,
facts.
Dude, what he did in his prime was just unmatched, bro. It was unmatched, and it's a reason why we got to bench him, because we got Calvin Johnson. I don't think any receiver has had as many Hail Mary highlights as Calvin Johnson.
Can't be.
I don't see anyone else, bro. Like, dude, it's crazy how Detroit has had possibly. Barry Sanders is the greatest running back.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
and possibly the greatest receiver of all time, and they lost both of them in their prime.
They retired.
These dudes was both in their prime when they retired.
They lost so much that they retired from football because they were so tired of just losing and being the best and just lose. I'm ready for the 30 for 30. How does that happen? Shout out to Detroit. I got family out there. My mom's from Detroit. But what is going on? Like, how do you lose two? Like you said, possibly the two best at a position ever, and they both retire at 30. Like, it's crazy.
It's 30. It's crazy. You know, I don't know. Like, it's a reason why we got Calvin as a starter, and then we got Julio as on the bench. And this ain't taking nothing away from Tyreek, man. But Julio, I'm telling you, I just seen too many times this dude put up like 200-plus yards of receiving against a lot of teams, bro.
A lot of teams. I mean, we all watched it.
He's first ballot. First.
Oh, yeah.
First ballot.
Yeah.
His numbers are insane.
Crazy.
Like, his numbers are insane. It's crazy that Atlanta just never won while he was on the team. It's crazy.
Even in that Super Bowl, he was going bananas in the Super Bowl that they lost.
Crazy. The first half, really the whole game, but that first half was wild.
That sideline catch in the third quarter is one of the craziest catches I've still seen in the Super Bowl. I was just like, man, I can't. He's unreal.
A lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
I lost a lot of money that day.
Hey, the whole city of Atlanta economy probably went down after that with how much money. People probably had to take so much money out the bank paying people after seeing that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But you're going against TB12. I mean,
shout out to my kinfolk out there in Atlanta, man.
No, for sure. We know y'all was hurt.
My cousins was going. They was going through it out there.
Hey, but Georgia delivered and gave him some chips though. Georgia done gave y'all a couple championships, so hey, y'all got something to celebrate out there for sure.
They did. You know, and the crazy part about it, the Falcons lost their year, right?
Mm-hmm.
UGA lost the following year against Alabama in the Natty.
Oh, and the same crazy comeback win.
Oh.
Like both of them was comebacks. Like that was crazy. That was a crazy game too. That's how Tua got to the league because of that game.
And Belichick and Nick Saban, they them guys.
Yeah, you don't play with either one of them. Neither one of them are not to be played with when it comes to that. But yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough start bench cut, and I always hate that game because they always gonna pick somebody, and it's like, man, how can you leave somebody out, especially somebody like Tyreek Hill that's gonna end up being a first ballot Hall of Famer too. So all three of those dudes, shout out all three of them, and that'll wrap up the quick take. So. Folks, want to thank everybody for watching with us so far. We got about 30 more minutes left in this thing, and want to jump into some college football, man. Want to jump into some college football and some of these games we got for this weekend. I'm excited. I know PJ's excited. Everybody's excited for the season kicking off in a huge way. And we'll do Colorado last. We'll talk about that game. We got them tonight. 30 minutes from now, folks. Hope y'all getting ready, getting your setups ready, your popcorn, whatever you're going to go and get ready, because I think that game is going to be a shootout. But we'll touch on that one just a little bit later. We'll jump on that one just a little bit later. But we'll talk about some college football before we do. A lot of good games this weekend, PJ. A lot of good games we're getting ready to see, man. And I want to go through some of these and talk about them just a little bit and talk about which team we think is going to win in this. So we'll start it out with the home game, man. We always got to root for the home team in this. Baylor being here in Waco. I'll be at the game too, up in the press box. So y'all come and holler at me if y'all coming to the game. But they're taking on a Tarleton State team that we know Baylor's got to beat them, and they got to beat them convincingly. Like we can't go in here and play around. This can't be no Texas State stuff. This can't be no stuff like how Liberty used to be and all that kind of stuff. And Baylor's got to go in here and take care of business, man. And they got to handle them. They're a 26-point favorite. So we know what that means. Tarleton State, think they already played one game. They played one game last year. Barely got out of that. Last week. Barely got out of that game. And the starting quarterback got hurt. He's not going to play in this game. So they're going to be playing against the backup. There's got to be a blowout, man. 30-piece. That's what I want to see. I'm going to be in the stand. I'm going to be in the press box. 30-piece is what I want to see. PJ, what do you want to see from this Baylor game, man?
I'm on the same page, man. 30 piece.
Yeah,
A
no
30 piece.
facts.
I honestly feel like it's gonna go like this, man. It could either be a 30 piece, like we say, or they're gonna play down to their competition, which I really do not want them to play down to their competition. There's no reason to play down to Tarleton State. Don't go in there playing from the first whistle. Go and hit them in the mouth. Get everything started from right there. Y'all better than them. Y'all know that y'all better than them. Y'all have a way better overall team than them, better coaching, everything. Shout out to Tarleton State. I'm sure they're going to be decent at their level, what they're playing at. But against Baylor, I feel like Baylor should just go in there and, just
blow out.
Like I say, just go in there and just dominate, man. Like, it's really nothing to talk about. Like, it's really not. We don't even have too much of anything to say about the game because you really should just go in there and dominate. You are the better team.
Yeah, you're the better team. Like, you got to go in there.
Every position, probably.
Yeah, at every position. I mean, that's not even – that shouldn't be debatable. We're talking about Baylor getting back to how they were in, to 2021 season, how they were in 2013, how they were a little bit before that. So we gotta see them. We gotta see them come out here and do their thing, man. We definitely want to get you guys' opinion on this. PJ, I'm gonna put you on hold real quick. We got a caller on here. I'm gonna see if we can get some info from here. What's going on? This just Jalen Gillis of Centex Primetime.
Hi, Jason.
Hey, what's going on?
This is Miss Miller calling. I'm calling about my grandson.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Tell us about him.
Dante Stud is playing for Tarleton, and I'm pulling for Tarleton.
Yes, ma'am. We talked to Rocky when he was up here a couple days ago. He said y'all are going to have a whole section out there for him, and we definitely want to shout out.
To Dante Stud.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're going to be looking forward to seeing him play out there, former La Vega Pirate, and we're excited to see him watch out here, and we definitely want to thank you for calling in and supporting the show and coming to talk to us.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so I wanted to get to that too. Former La Vega Pirate out there, man. Definitely shout out to him getting to play in front of his home team out there. So that'll be real cool for him to get to come home and have family and stuff out there and get to watch him come out there and play. So like we said, PJ, we're expecting Baylor to go out there and dominate and do their thing in that game. Before we go to the next game on the list, we got Kyrell on here with us, man. He got to make it in to the show. He's going to talk some college football with us for this last 30 minutes. Kyrell, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
Hey, man, nothing much. Just chopping it up about this old football weekend we got ahead of us. So we'll get you in on some of these convos too, man. We're moving forward through some of these college football games. But before we do that, I want to get your take real quick on the breaking news of Brandon Ayuk getting his money right after CD got his money. We know Jetta's got his money a few months ago. And what do you think about the Brandon Ayuk news?
For one, man, now that everything's kind of all the dominoes have fell, it's kind of looking like that everybody was just waiting on somebody else to set the market.
Yeah.
Because we knew Ayuk wasn't going to get CD money. We knew that CD wasn't going to get Justin Jefferson. Well, shouldn't have got Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
But, it's whatever. It's bragging rights stuff. But, I knew they were going to be there. Like, I didn't think they were going to trade him. They need those weapons around that guy. I'm not going to say his name because I've been in too many top 5 conversations lately, so I'm just not going to say his name. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
And that guy needs other guys. Real guys, So it makes sense they got Ayuk signed. And I think they rolled out new uniforms, man. I don't know. They can do whatever they need to keep that bus rolling. But, as long as you're in that Kyle Shanahan offense, And things will be okay. I honestly thought about, getting out there and seeing if I go to the practice field and catch some wide open passes. Maybe I might get like 20 minutes out there running 5-2. It don't seem like it matters what you're running. It's offense, ball.
Yeah.
And then, but nah, man, I'm glad he got his money. He knew it. He did exactly what it needs to be done. I'm sure his agent telling him like, hey, this is your time. And it's so funny how guys like literally just step their game up every time they have a contract in play. Like, what were you doing the other years?
Yeah.
Because Brandon Ayuk was unquestionably a top 10 receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, this was kind of like, man, it's a 2. It's a 3, 2 or 3. But to me, he was a better receiver than Debo last year. I know Debo has more responsibility. But he's the only receiver on their roster that was worth anything. Jennings, he's another beneficiary of the constant in their offense. But Ayuk and CD too. I'm looking at these guys like they must really like, I don't know, they need to go to casino or something like that, man, because they when it's time to gamble, and actually perform and get the most bang for your buck, they went out there and did it. I mean, come on, y'all. Like, it was not a mistake for the Cowboys, not to sign him 2 years ago. Last year I would say they should have paid him because it was around 25, 27 mil, and now I would say he was worth it at the time. But to just go out there and say, hey, I might need number 1 in the league money, like that's the type of season I'm finna. And same thing with Ayuk. Even he might not have had the numbers that CD had, but he was unquestionably their best receiver last year. Like, that guy's play just jumped up another level, and it's just like, man, if I'm a GM, it's gonna be terrible to manage. But why not I just sign all my guys to 1-year deals? They gonna play like that. Like, that's not even.
You're gonna lose half your team. You go out there and do that.
yeah. It's gonna be a lot of movement. It's gonna be looking like the transfer market and the Premier League or something.
Yeah.
But they and if my players don't come out here and put up all pro seasons just because their contract might be up. Oh yeah, 2-year deal, 1-year deal. Come on, show me what you got. If not, next guy up. I'm gonna keep doing it until I get an all pro here.
Yeah, no, that's true. To see how these dudes play on their contract year is really crazy to see. Like you said, what were you doing all them other years, bro? But sometimes when you're putting all the pressure on yourself, you perform at a higher level. So definitely want to shout out Brandon Ayuk and getting that money, and we'll see what the Niners gonna do, man. They gave him a bag. He got a bag for real. I thought he was gonna get maybe 90 million, 95 million, something. They gave him 120, so you got to live up to that and perform now because Debo's probably on his way out after that. I ain't gonna lie, they're not finna keep paying both of those guys all that money. But like we said, shout out Brandon Ayuk.
Tell Debo here, running back.
No, facts. Well, they got a running back, so they're gonna tell Debo go to Cleveland. But so he got to, shout out Ayuk, man, to getting this bag. And the breaking news on here, PJ broke the news for us on here. But we're gonna jump back into this college football. As we're here about the last 20 minutes here, fellas want to go through some of these games, these top games that we see, and pick some of these people we think are going to win. So let's go straight to one of the big games we got here. Let's start on some Big 12 ball. Penn State versus West Virginia. We know this kind of a rivalry game, and these teams always go back and forth, and I think the spread kind of reflects that, even though Penn State is ranked number 8, the only 8.5-point favorite. So, it's going to be a close game, man. West Virginia knows how to put up a fight. They got some guys out there. They're going to be one of those scrappy teams like we talked about with the Big 12. Seems like the Big 12's got so many of those scrappy teams, but West Virginia is one of them. They're taking on Penn State. Penn State, 8.5-point favorite. I'm going to go ahead and go with Penn State on this one, bro. I got to go with Penn State. I think they'll still get the job done. James Franklin, like I said before, I'm always rooting for the black coaches in football just because it's a shortage of those guys, but I mean, James Franklin has had some underwhelming years, and it seems for him to not. It seems like he's got to go out here and prove something, especially with the Big Ten not having a down year because they added guys like USC and Oregon. But Michigan's not going to be as big, I think, as how they've been maybe the past couple of years. So you got to try to get a top 3 finish here, and you got to start it off by beating West Virginia. I got Penn State. PJ, who you got in this game?
I got Penn State all the way, man.
Yeah. I'm feeling the same way.
Penn State, man. I don't see anything that West Virginia is going to do in this game to even come close to winning.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm just not sold on West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm West Virginia. They're like I said, they could be one of those scrappy teams, but Penn State got to come out here and dominate and do what they're supposed to do in this game. Kyra, who you got? Penn State, West Virginia. Penn State 8.5-point favorite.
Oh man, never fought trends. So I'm looking at these two teams now for my ass. And I think about Penn State and I think about West Virginia, and West Virginia's gonna be at home. 8-point favorites. Okay, you give it to right. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go with West Virginia, man. Like, I don't think for any state moments last year turning.
You gonna go West Virginia with the upset?
Oh yeah. Okay. Like 8.5 is not a run for me.
It's not.
That's too close. That's too close. That tells me that Vegas, they're nervous too. This is a real game. This is a ranked team. I don't think West Virginia's ranked.
No, I agree. I think Vegas is thinking, the same thing, that, West Virginia's at home and all that. I understand you saying you taking the points, but you're going to take Penn State to lose, I mean?
Yeah. I'm definitely taking the points. But I'll also take them. I just think beginning of the season, I think, is this their first home game?
Yep.
Mountaineers? Yeah, that stadium's rocking, man. It's college football. Like, let's get it going. It's home field advantage. Let's get the freshmen rolling, get them out there. Like, come on, man, let's get the stadium rocking. Like, 8 points is not enough. It's the home game, first home game of the season. Like, I don't think it's enough. I needed to see 20.
Man, they're not going to put them boys no 20. This is a Power 4 conference matchup, man. They're not going to put them boys no 20-point favorite. But I get what you're saying, though.
It's West Virginia.
No, I get what you're saying. It is West Virginia, and that is a great stadium. I think that's why the spread is the way it's at. So we got 2 Penn States, and Kyrell going for the big upset there with the West Virginia Mountaineers going to pull that one out. So speaking of upset, I want to talk about a team that I got on upset alert. I don't know if I'm ready to go ahead and pick them to get upsetted, but we got to watch this team for the upset here. Number 17, Oklahoma State, taking on South Dakota State. I know everybody's going to be tuned in tonight to watch the North Dakota State game as they take on Colorado. But the team that's been putting it down out here the last couple of years in that Division II area there, South Dakota State, man, these dudes have won 29 games in a row. 29 games in a row. Taking on Oklahoma State team that, let's be honest, coming off of some, they're kind of shaky, man. I know they got Ollie Gordon, and people want to go ahead and pick them. Shout out Corey Black out there at Oklahoma State. He'll be starting their corner, former Conley cadet here in Waco. But man, they're a little bit shaky, man. And you taking on a team that ain't lost in 2 years. They done won 29 games in a row. And Oklahoma State, this is going to be their test to see how this is going to go for the rest of the season. I know this is a small school, and you're supposed to beat up on them, but the spread only 10.5 points. So you're talking about Vegas knowing something. I think they know something in this game with South Dakota State coming in there off on a 29-game win streak. I'm still gonna go Oklahoma State, but I think they're gonna have to really fight this one out to get a win in this one. PJ, who you got in this game?
I gotta go with Oklahoma State. I got a lot of respect for South Dakota State. And they're a team that a lot of people just haven't really, watched. They are really good, bro.
Yeah.
For a Division II team, they're really good. But I can never just come out here and pick a Division II team over a ranked Power 4 team. I just can't do it. I gotta see the game. I can only say that it is a strong possibility that Oklahoma State will be upset against them. So they have to be on upset watch for sure, because I'm telling you, if they come into this game and they take them lightly, they will be going home possibly unranked.
Ain't no possibly. They're going to be unranked.
Dakota State.
Yeah, and I agree. They could go home with an L, and they got to come in here and have their head on a swivel. You got to be ready. What you got an advantage on them is you're a bigger school, so you got to be bigger. You got the biggest running back in college football. Ollie Gordon needs 30 carries. I'm sorry for all the NFL GMs wanting to draft and wanting to get light carries. He got to get 30 carries, man, in this game for them to come out and get a win in this one. Kyra, who you got in this? Oklahoma State, South Dakota State.
So, and I apologize for my comments the other day about Colorado. I was thinking of South Dakota State, not North State.
Oh, okay.
They should really, do something different with those names. Like, that's too close to.
They only got 2 schools, man.
I know, but I don't know, man. Maybe Northeast Dakota State.
Man, come on.
Yeah, so big ups to South Dakota State. They've been the cream of the crop in Division II football for pretty much most of my boyhood and adult life, maybe teenage years. Yeah, so adult life, and I do give them a shot, and I like the spread on the game, but I'm not buying that, man. I think the last time they played who was the last Division I team they played? Iowa.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
Anyway, I know they lost, so I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm taking Ollie Guard, man. Like, yeah, locomotive, and I don't think that's all Big 12 talent or Division I talent on the offensive line and D line, and I know there's no once the gridiron is on and set, the lights on, stuff goes away. But I tell you what, don't go away. 6'4", 300 pounds on that whole line.
No, that's facts.
I don't want to see them throw the ball.
No.
I want wing tee, I formation, Ollie Gordon, 32 lead. It's over with. 35 carries, exactly like Jalen said, man. I don't really see South Dakota State having the physicalness to hang. I know they're the cream of the crop. I do expect them to be close in the first half, but I'm thinking by the time the second half comes around, late third quarter, fourth quarter, we're going to see a 2-3 touchdown lead.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. Go ahead.
Their favorite play should be honestly power the whole game. Power. That's all they need to run.
Jerome Bettis.
Just power. Both sides. Yeah, that's all you need to be running, man. We don't need to be doing nothing else. Don't try to get all crazy with your plays. Straight power the entire game if you Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what they're going to go in there and do. Mike Gundy's a good coach. He's been around a long time, probably the longest in the Big 12 for sure. One of the longest 10-year coaches in college football, Mike Gundy. He knows what he's doing, and he knows he can't go out there and play around with his team either.
He's been there my whole life, for real.
Yeah, I still remember. Yeah. I'm a man. I'm 40. Yeah. I still remember that. So, so he's been around. He's been around for a minute. They used to run that clip on ESPN every day. So,
every day.
Shout out Mike Gundy, man. Oklahoma State, they'll go out there and get one. Go ahead.
I don't expect them. Well, I want to see them drop 7 every play.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have this quarterback have anywhere to throw the ball. They're going to drop 7, get pressure before. Let's see if these D2 linemen can really hold up against 4 or 5 rushers. You know, let's D1 versus D2. Are y'all going to show us why it's D1 versus D2? Or y'all going to let these South Dakota, they've been chirping on social media a lot this year. Especially this offseason.
They got 29 wins in a row.
I know. They changed coaches, I believe, too. So people think they're supposed to fall off and things like that. Some of their media.
I think that's North Dakota State that changed coaches recently. I think South Dakota State might still got theirs, yeah. But I'm agreeing with you. You got to drop them guys back, and you got to make them 4. Whoever your 4 D lineman is, everybody got to go into that game thinking I need 2 sacks. So everybody got to be thinking that whoever the front four is, even the backups coming in second unit, you got to be thinking, I'm trying to go out here and get 2 sacks. And like you said, it's a smaller D2 line. One more game I want to jump on before we talk some last Colorado in this last about 5-6 minutes we got here. The game probably of the week for college football, man. Number 1 Georgia versus number 14 Clemson. Clemson, we know, has kind of been on a downtrod a little bit the last couple of years, just from where they were when they had Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. They were perennial contenders in the college football playoffs. They really haven't gotten back to that status since. But with the new 12 teams, and definitely with Clemson looking like the favorite to win the ACC now after Florida State went out there laying eggs, Clemson going to be picked to win the ACC, and they got a real test here. We know these two teams. Coach Kirby Smart talked about how they used to see each other on recruiting trails all the time because, South Carolina, Clemson's right there. It's right next to Georgia. It's right next to Athens. So these guys know each other. They've probably been playing against each other since high school. So slight kind of rivalry-ish game there. Georgia, 13.5-point favorite, so they're expecting Georgia to come out here and do their thing and still dominate. They got first-team preseason All-American quarterback with Carson Beck. I'm going to go with Georgia in this game, but I'm kind of tempted to take the points there, Kyrell. The 13.5, that's kind of a lot there. Clemson can go out there and have a good game. Excited to see what Cade Klubnik, another Texas product, the quarterback out of Westlake, coming in there starting a QB for Clemson. So I'm going to take Georgia, but it might be closer than people think. Kyrell, what you think?
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia, man. Clemson, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're basically out about is the D-line. And if you don't have that experience or that level of play against Georgia, like the way they've been recruiting these last couple of years, it's not going to be pretty. And I also don't think they're going to, even though Georgia secondary is young, I don't think they're going to have enough firepower from the outside at the receiver positions. I think the number one is like 600 yards or 700 yards or something like that, maybe even less.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really seeing that type of production to hang with Bulldogs as of late.
Yeah,
I'm going. Man, I think that's the easy bet, actually. Beating the points.
Yeah. So So you like the points too on the 13.5. It ain't bad, and like you said, that's just 2 touchdowns. So Georgia can pick that up. That shouldn't be no problem if they come out there and play the way they're supposed to play. PJ, what you think about this Georgia and Clemson game?
Yeah, this is an 11 a.m. game in Athens, so I'm taking the points with Georgia.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough for Clemson because they are really a young team. If you look at a lot of their, definitely like y'all was just talking about, like with the receivers, I like Noble Johnson out of Rockwall, the freshman, but they're young, man. Like they're very young, and I don't think they have a lot of firepower to keep up with this Georgia team. Even just outside of them being young, because I feel like Georgia got a lot of guys that are going to be young too. They lost a few guys into the draft this past season, but it's just going to be hard playing out there in Athens. Georgia starting off the year number 1. Do I think that they deserve to be number 1? I'm not really sure yet. Definitely coming off of last season, I'm not sure. I'm not really sold on Carson Beck. I think he's pretty good, but I don't know. I don't really be sold on too many of the Georgia quarterbacks. I really feel like they're system QBs. But against Clemson on Saturday, I think they got it for sure. Clemson, even if they lose, it really depends on how they lose. If they can make this game closer than 13 points, then they're going to really look good for their resume going into the rest of the season. Definitely if they win out, or even if they don't win out, let's say they lose probably like 1 or 2 more games. As long as you play against Georgia and you play close and you make it to the ACC championship game, they have a really good argument as far as going into the college football playoff, even though I know it's going to be 12 teams and they could still be one of those higher seeds winning the ACC. And they're just going to go forward just seeing how the ACC pans out if they have a few good teams outside of just Clemson and maybe like Louisville, Georgia Tech if they continue to win, Miami if they win a few games this year too. But yeah, I got Georgia winning as far as winning this week, and also just on the 13 points.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we all went Georgia across the board there, number one team in the nation, and they got to come out here and show it, man. You got to come out here, like you said. I'm not a big fan of the Georgia quarterbacks. They ain't really had no quarterback I like since Matt Stafford, and that was over a decade ago. So I'm not sold on the Georgia quarterbacks like that. But we'll see here, and this will be a good test against them on Saturday. Go ahead.
I got to shout out Brian Wesco as well. Brian Wesco Jr. from Midlothian, the freshman.
Yeah.
I got to shout him out for Clemson too. So they got two Texas boys at the outside receiver spots that are both top receivers in their class. But yeah, I think we still gonna go ahead and rock with Georgia though.
Yeah, and it's definitely shout out to Texas boys. We always gonna shout out the people from Texas here. We think we got the best football in Texas, especially here in Central Texas. But shout out to them, and we all got Georgia across the board. So getting ready to wrap this one up, folks. A couple more minutes. Gonna do a very, very quick take on this one. The game's about to start in 5 minutes, fellas. This is what we've been waiting on. College football starting. Coach Deion's kicking this one off, man. Primetime. He's kicking this off in about 5 minutes, taking on North Dakota State. I got to look at my camera, man. Colorado, Coach Prime. Y'all got to come out here. Y'all got to handle business, man. It can't be no playing around. Y'all got to stand on business. Come out here. Y'all a 10.5-point favorite. I need to see a 20-piece. I need to see a 20-piece win in this game. It can't be no playing around. It's been too much talk. It's been too much talk from a lot of different talking heads. Y'all on banned media. You know, they're going back and forth with people. They're saying y'all are worrying about what the guy Dan Lanning talking about. They play for clicks. People have been talking about y'all for 2 years nonstop. Now's the time to prove it, man. We all rooting for Coach Prime here on Centex Primetime for sure. We're fans of his, and we want to see you go out here and dominate. You got to do it, man. It's time to do it. It's time to go for it. Shadur. The Shadur. You got to hit the Shadur, man. It's time to do it. You got weapons out there now. Time to go out here and prove it. PJ, what do you think about this game we're about to see in a couple minutes?
I'm on the same page as you, man. They need to just go out there, dominate, establish themselves on both sides of the ball. Y'all are way better than them. Y'all have way better athletes, way better players, way better coaching. Y'all just better than them overall, man. Don't go out there playing, don't worry about what anybody talking about, you know what I'm saying, but still stand on business, though, because a lot of people been having a lot of things to say about Deion in Colorado. They try to make it like this team isn't really they try to play on them like they not really official, like they don't really have some of the best players in college football on their team. So I would really love to see Colorado go out there, stand on business, play hard, and, just dominate, man. Just dominate all across the board, man, and show them that y'all really that team.
And there's nothing more to it, man. That's what you got to do. You got to go out here and get to it early. Let's not make this a game. I'd love to see a close game, but let's not go out here and play around, man. Like you said, establish dominance and go get this dub so we can move forward in the season and see how this is going to go. Folks, want to thank everybody for watching with us today, man. It was we had a great episode, and we're all excited to see some football, and that's exactly what we're about to go and do. Make sure you guys are following us on our social medias, Centex Sports TV on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at Jalen Gillis. You can follow PJ on there as well. You'll see his on all of our clips and stuff. So go on there and make sure you guys follow us as well. Kyra had to jump off here, but shout out to Kyra for coming in for a couple of minutes with us too. Make sure you guys go on to Centex Sports TV on YouTube. Subscribe there, like this stream, like some of our past videos. Go on there and check us out, man. Centex Sports One app. Make sure you download that on the Google Play Store and on the Apple Store. Also, you can go to CentexSports1.com to be able to listen to this every single day, 5 to 7. Tomorrow, we're back a little bit different. We're going to do some Friday football. So we'll be back tomorrow, folks, and get ready for our high school matchups for tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in and get ready for that. Signing off here today, man, is Jalen Gillis here, joined with PJ Gaither. We're going to see you guys next time on Centex Primetime. Have a good night.
CBS Sports Central Texas, KWBT HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Hood.